By way of introduction, my name is Brad Robbins. I'm a product evangelist at Flex, which is a fancy way for saying I don't build the product, I just love to talk about it. And I want to start off with a quick story that might resonate with some of you and certainly will resonate with someone that you know, potentially someone that lives at one of your properties. So I started my career in technology, was there for 6 years at a large Fortune 100 company. I then took a left turn in my career and pursued my lifelong dream in the world of live entertainment. Well, if you know anything about 2020, you know that it was very, very unkind to the world of live entertainment. I didn't just lose my job, my entire industry disappeared overnight, and for the first time in my adult life, I found myself in need of financial flexibility. Now, as a mortgage holder, there was very little to be found, at least in my situation. So needless to say, when the concept of flex came across my desk as an opportunity to go to work for, it was a no-brainer, because certainly there were those renting across this country who, for whatever reason, even if no fault of their own, were in need of flexibility with their largest recurring expense. It's something they would at least seriously consider. And so that one thing I love about Flex, and I wish I could take credit for this because I think it's really, really catchy, we are not a revolutionary company per se. We are an evolutionary company. And I know most of you have been in this industry much, much longer than myself, so I know you can relate to this. We have seen an evolution of the way that people pay rent, going from cash to check, from check to card, and we are now seeing a new payment category, relatively new to this industry, but by the way, been around for over a decade. This idea of flexible payments, or alt payments, split payments, buy now, pay later. There's a million names for it. And that is what we at Flex are doing. I want to talk to you quickly about two things: what it is that we do, and most importantly, why we're doing it, and why, at a minimum, you should be either considering it or at least paying attention to it. What we do is very, very simple. We offer a best-in-class, mobile-first, flexible rent payment solution that allows residents to split rent, their largest monthly expense, into two smaller, more manageable payments. We then provide an experience that is a win-win for operators, allowing them to be paid upfront in full at the beginning of the month. We got the what out of the way. Now let's focus on the why and why you should be caring. Our co-founders founded Flex off of two things: a realization and a hypothesis. A realization that the largest monthly expense, typically for the American renter, falls at the beginning of the month, regardless of how many other expenses they have. When those bills hit their account, heaven forbid they have an emergency or a disaster. So that was the realization. The hypothesis they set out to test was, what if we allowed someone to split that up into two smaller payments? Would this make a difference? Would people think it was stupid? Would they even use it? Needless to say, it was something that took off. The market timing could not have been better. We came to market early 2019. By the time I joined in September of 20, we could not answer the phone fast enough as people were frantically looking for anything they could do to assist and serve their residents or just get rent in the door. We recently released a third-party research report with Jay Turner, and if you're interested in that, please reach out to me. I'd love to send you the full report. 30 pages, much more than I could share here, but a few things I found really insightful. Number one is that while of the residents surveyed, 84% expressed interest in having a flexible rent payment option, today only roughly 30+% of operators even offer one. More interestingly, 96% of the Gen Z residents that were surveyed expressed high interest in this. That's particularly interesting when you consider the fact that millennials and Gen Z in particular are on track to potentially become the largest generation of renters in history. So maybe, just maybe, we should be considering what it is they have to say and the things that they are considering. And 85% said this payment experience added to their overall living experience, making it better. I loved what Larry said this morning. For those of us that were in that sweaty group that didn't value our life or our sleep this morning, went on that hike. He said, your residents are not comparing you to your peers, to other multifamily operators. They are comparing your experiences to the other brands that they interact with every day. So if your payment options are limited, if they're clunky, if they're not conducive to the way that they are used to paying, you are being compared to how they buy airline tickets, where they buy their electronics, where they buy their everyday essentials. And by the way, even credit cards, which have been around for decades, are even offering a more flexible way to pay with select purchases. And that's where Flex comes in, and this is our goal, to become the gold standard, the household name in flexible rent. And that's what we're shooting for. The last thing I'll just quickly say is our co-founder had some connection to Charlie Munger. Maybe you've heard of the guy. This was before I think they'd even made more than 5 hires. They somehow had a conversation. I was just reminded of this on my way here. Charlie appeared to be asleep for the entire conversation. And our co-founder was kind of getting nervous, like, is he paying attention? Does he like me? Is this stupid? Should I just hang up the phone? Once the conversation and the pitch was over, Charlie looked at our co-founder and simply said, I was just in China, and you know what I saw? I saw people paying with their phones. I saw people using this payment, using that payment. The point he was trying to make is that the best brands in the world make it as easy as possible for people to give them their money. So in conclusion, we've only been doing this for 5 years, but it's been a phenomenal ride, to say the least. I've been here for a little over 4. We're in 8 million units nationwide, 2,100 management companies. We are on track December to have our very first $1 billion rent payment month, which is exciting. It took us 3 years to pay our first $1 billion in rent, so to be able to do that on a monthly basis is great. And the last thing I'll say, I know that we as a company are excited to be part of this council, because we understand that you don't just come into this industry and provide technology solutions because you think it's good or because you know better. Innovation, at the heart of innovation, is collaboration. And that's what I look forward to, learning from you all, learning how we can not just bring in the unique POV of consumer finance and trends that we have, but learning how to make it work specifically and as best as possible for this industry. Because we know that it's, especially when it comes to amenities, solutions, services, it's not just about the thing that's the coolest, the thing that looks the nicest, the thing that's going to be the sexiest on the website. It's about providing true value, providing things that actually your residents want, that they need, that actually benefit them, and that leads to an exceptional experience, which ultimately leads to what we're all in here for, which is to ultimately growth, profitability, and serve those that we house. So thank you, guys. Appreciate your time.